What's up, you guys? Zoeb here from OneGlanceTrader.com, and I'm really excited to be sharing my brand new pullback trend trading EA utilizing the channel commodity index as the pullback method. So in this video, I'll be going through what the EA is, how it works, and then I'll be sharing the results at the end of the video of how this EA performed against 5 different currency pairs throughout the whole of 2020. Now, this is the third video inside the series of where I've been looking at different oscillators and different indicators to find the best pullback method as part of a trend trading strategy. So you can click the link down below, which has the playlist which goes through the RSI as the pullback oscillator or indicator of choice, and then the second one was the stochastics. And again, I'm not going to go into the results of how those two performed in this particular video. I won't spoil the surprises. You can go check out those videos. Links are down below. But this one here has been popularly requested to utilize the CCI as the pullback method. And this EA, as well as the RSI version and the stochastics version, is absolutely free. Link is inside the description to go pick that up, and you can go download them into the members area and start trading it from today. So if we go into what this EA works, and the framework of this is going to be pretty similar to the RSI and stochastics video, where the actual bulk of the EA that's produced is exactly the same. So how this works is it utilizes the exponential moving average, which is in this default setting is the 200 EMA. And again, you can tailor that to your liking, and we'll go into that inside the settings, but we use that as trend direction, so is price above or below the 200 EMA. Then we use the channel commodity index, which is again an oscillator very similar to the RSI and stochastics, which work for overbought and oversold levels. And what we're looking for is for price to come out of overbought, oversold levels while price is above or below the exponential moving average, to then go take a trade. And the default period is the 14 period, and again for this back test we have stuck with the default 14 period. So very simply, in terms of a buy signal, the price has to be above the 200 EMA, and the CCI has to come out of oversold territory. So in this chart example, you can see here, you can see the overbought and oversold levels highlighted by this black black dashed line, and then you've got the channel commodity index in green, just ranging between the two levels. And we can see that price is above this blue line, which is the 200 EMA. So when the CCI goes into oversold territory in this particular example, and when it comes out of oversold territory, you'll see that the EA will calculate to see if price is above the EMA, and if it is, it will take a buy signal at that level. And then, as you can see in these yellow examples here, every time price went out of oversold territory, it would have taken a buy signal at these areas. And then you can set your reward to risk parameters, which we'll go into in the next slide. And it's exactly the opposite for a sell trade. So price has to be below the exponential moving average, and every time price comes out of overbought territory, over these situations over here, then it will take a sell signal. So it's a fairly basic strategy, but again, it gives us a way on how can we get into long-term trends and not buy in at the highs and try to get a discount level to then trade it back up to the potential highs or even further. So in terms of how the EA is kind of set up in terms of its input settings, again, it's absolutely free. Link is down below. And again, for those of you who have watched the RSI and the stochastic videos, you will notice that the input settings are exactly the same. All that's changed is the actual pullback method, which in this case is the CCI. So you can see here we've got the CCI settings here, a default at 14, applied to close. Then you've got your overbought and oversold levels, which traditionally is between minus 100 and 100. It does go further than those variables, but those are the considered overbought oversold levels, similar to the 80-20 for stochastics and 70-30 for the RSI. And then you got your MA settings. Again, the default is 200 exponential, and as with all of these settings, you can customize this to test and optimize the kind of trading strategy based on various different input settings that you have. So the take profit and stop loss is divided by the ATR, so the average true range, which kind of measures the kind of pip movement over x number of bars. So the default in this is the 14 period. So what it does, it will calculate what is the average true range over the last 14 bars of the time frame that you're trading, and then your stop loss and take profit are set to X multiples of that region. And the default is a 1-to-1, but we'll go into the settings of what we've done for the back test. And then in terms of risk management, there are two options you've got. You can either use a fixed lot size for every single trade, or you can use a percentage of your balance that you have available. And again, there are alert options for you if you want to have an MT4 alert through the desktop, so the sound notification or the push notification on your phone if you've got the MT4 app. So again, fairly basic settings inside here, and again, they follow the same logic of the RSI and stochastics pullback method. So to keep things consistent with the RSI and stochastics kind of settings, we have kept the exact same pairs, date range, spread, starting balance, and risk management. So if we look at the input settings on the left hand side, the sections in yellow is what I've changed from the default settings, and they are the stop loss. So we are doing 4x multiple of the ATR, and we're going for a 2-to-1. So therefore, it's going to be 8x in terms of the ATR for the take profit target, and we will be doing 2% risk per trade that we enter. So the pairs tested again are kind of the five kind of most pairs that are kind of traded, and then like I said, the date range is between January to December 2020. In terms of the time frame, similar to the other two back tests that we did, I've done the 15-minute chart, and the reason for the 15-minute chart is because I wanted volume of trades, so therefore I had a big enough sample size to understand how the ebbs and flows of this particular EA is going to perform under different market conditions. We've gone with the standard 2-pip spread, which is quite a wide spread considering the number of brokers that are out there doing a less than a pip spread on majority of the majors, and such as Euro USD, you're getting like 0.2, 0.3 pips. But again, I wanted to kind of go slightly outside of that range. So like I said, starting balance $1,000, 2-to-1 reward to risk, and 2% per trade. So in terms of the results, I think it's very encouraging from a first pass perspective. So you can see in terms of all the currency pairs, there was only one pair that was down over the 12-month period, and I've actually got the graph of how the P&L looked over the 12 months, and it's quite interesting when you look at the USD JPY in terms of how it fared out. In terms of trades, we've got roughly around 240 to 270-ish in between that range, so fairly consistent across the pairs. Win rate again quite consistent between the 35 and 40 mark. Drawdown did vary slightly depending on what it was, with the lowest with the Euro USD, and without spoiling the other two, I think the Euro USD return was the highest out of all three of them from memory, and I had to increase the column size in Excel to get the to get the $1,199.57 on there, but over 100% return on that. And so bar the USD JPY, again, some really good consistent returns there across all the currency pairs, which is really, really encouraging. So if I have a look at how the P&L flowed throughout the overall backtest, and if we look at the USD JPY, you can see that it started really well, and we got to just under $1,800. So it was up 80%, and then I don't know what the date range kind of is of when things started to tank, and it's between that high and where we ended up, which caused the drawdown of 60%. But Euro USD fairly consistent. USD Chef peaked out and then started to dip down. So we noticed this kind of trend of it rising up and then dropping down slightly on there, as well as the Aussie dollar had a great start, had a bit of a bumpy middle, and then kind of evened itself out as time goes on. But again, I still think it's fairly encouraging in terms of the overall kind of return that we got as part of 2020. So I've got a couple of more um, back tests or in terms of pullback methods such as Bollinger Bands, MACD to also be testing as part of this series. So make sure you subscribe, you like this video, and the best thing I like about this is that you can optimize um, the EA, because if you look at it, you can test out different periods of the CCI. You've got different overbought, oversold levels, and you've got different ATR methods and different stop loss and take profit targets. So there's a lot of things you can do with this, as well as the RSI method and the stochastics method. But overall, just using the kind of vanilla settings that I've kind of thought about, it's produced pretty well. So I think there's a lot of room to optimize. Comment down below on which one's your favorite pullback strategy is, and I'll look to see if I can get that included inside there. And what you'll see now is on the end screen, you'll have the RSI and the stochastics method on there as well, so you guys can go check out those particular ones, so you can see how the CCI version compared to the RSI and stochastic. So make sure you like this video, comment down below, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss another video, and I shall see you guys in a second.